Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dini Khoirina and I'm from the A class. My student's number is A320150010. Here in this video, I would like to present about my research paper which titled Sociological Study, Segregation and Discrimination Toward the African American Maids found in Catherine Stockett's novel The Help 2009. We go to the introduction. This paper is about to analyze how segregation and discrimination toward African American maids reflected in Catherine Stockett's novel The Help in 2009. The purpose of this paper is to study the main social issues. They are segregation and discrimination. The issues segregation and discrimination toward the colored maid in Mississippi during the 1960s will be discussed, as The Help is a historical novel set during the 1960s in Mississippi. Its different events and aspects will be compared to information from historical sources. We come to the definition of the segregation and discrimination. Segregation occurs when people actively exclude members of a disadvantaged racial group from the allocation of resources and from access to institutions. The most common examples include denial of education, housing, employment, and healthcare on the basis of race, while the discrimination is a treatment or consideration or a making a distinction towards a person based on the group, class, or category to which the person is perceived to belong. These include age, color, convictions for which a pardon has been granted for a record, suspended ethnicity, family status, gender identity, genetic characteristics, nationality, race, religion, sex, and sexual orientations. The problem statement in this study is how is segregation and discrimination toward the colored maids reflected in Catherine Stockett's novel The Help, while the objective of this study is to describe how segregation and discrimination toward the colored maids reflected in Catherine Stockett's novel The Help. The underlying theory here, I use the Becker theory that in 1970, Becker describes a classic theory about how aversion to interracial contact referred to as a taste for discrimination and segregation can affect wages and labor markets. Or more complex versions of this model are provided by Black in 1995, Burhas and Bronars in 1989, and Bowles and Extens in 2002. He divided the discrimination into three parts. First is the segregation, second is physical attacks, and the third, extermination. While the finding and discussion in this chapter, the writer attempts to answer the question to describe how segregation, discrimination towards the colored maid reflected in Catherine Stockett's novel The Help. The finding and discussion. First, the evidence that we found in the novel about how segregation and discrimination is reflected in the novel. First, color cause disease. In this chapter, the novel is made a quotation. Miss Healy talk slow. She spreading icing on a cake. You just tell Hurley every penny he spends on the bathroom. He'll get all when you'll sell this house. She not like she agreeing herself. All these houses they're building without maids' quarters is just plain dangerous. Everybody knows that they carry different disease than we do. This statement proves that the white people believe that the colored people or the black people carry different disease and they are dangerous just because their skin is black. And the second, the discrimination in public places. The discrimination in public places we can divide into three: the housing, in the bus, and the public services. The housing, we can find in this novel the Miss Skeeter live in the long-leaf cotton plantation. She don't know it, but I picked cotton out here in 1931 during the Depression when we didn't have nothing to eat but state cheese. So Jackson, just one of the neighborhood after the next, and more springing up to the down road. But the colored part town, we one big anthill surrounded by state land that ain't for sale. As our numbers get bigger, we can spread out. Our part of town just get thicker. This means that the white people and the black people live in a different area, which really like the black people lived in a very inappropriate land. They have a very not nice place, and there are a lot of crimes there, like free shooting. But while the white people live in a very comfortable area, in a very nice place with a security, with all of the facilities they can get. This is the proof of the difference where they live, about the white people and the black people. The second, we find the discrimination in the bus. I get on the number 6 bus the afternoon, which goes from Bellhaven to Ferry Street. The bus today is nothing but mates heading home in our white uniforms. We all chatting and smiling at each other like we own it. Not cause we mind if the white people on here, we sit anywhere we want now, thanks to Miss Parks, just cause it's a friendly feeling. This proves that white people dominate the position in the bus. They usually sit in the front row, while the black people sit in the back row. And this is all just happened because they feel like the white people are so much better than the black people, so they deserve the front row. This is the and when in the bus, the black people are not allowed to talk or to chat with their friends if the white people are on the bus. So the white people just like the owner of the bus. In education, the discrimination in education, this is the most important part of this finding. But Miss Hill is shaking her head. Abilene, you wouldn't want to go to a school full of white people, would you? No, ma'am, I mumble. I get up and pull the ponytail holder to get a baby girl's head. Them green plastic balls all tangly where her hair get wet. But what I really want to do is put my hands up over there, her ears, so she can hear this talk. And worse, hear me agreeing. But then I think, why? Why I have to stand here and agree with her? And if May Mobley gon' hear it, she gon' her some sense. I get my breath, my heart beating hard, and I say polite as I can. Not a school full of white people, but where the colored and the white folks is together. Healy and Miss Leafold both look at me, and I look down at the kids. But Evelyn, colored people and white people are just so different. Miss Healy smiled real cold, and she wrinkled up her nose. This proved that the white people certainly don't want their child to get in a school with the black people in it. So they have a very different school as well for the children in education. The black people usually get a school with the black people only. No, they are not mixed with the white people, because the white people deserve the better education and better education facility that they can get, while the black people cannot get anything just because their skin are black. The conclusion that we can get from this research is, from the analysis above, it can be concluded that this novel gave us information and knowledge about how segregation and discrimination toward the colored mates in America in 1960s that reflected in Catherine Stockett's novel The Help. The colored mates often got inappropriate treatment from their white bosses because they believe that the colored should be treated like a slave. The white also made the assumption that the colored people might bring the dangerous disease of the black skin. The colored people also didn't get the same facility as the white people, such as in the public facilities and education. I think this is all for the presentation I can make. I hope you enjoy this video and I apologize for my mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.